Now that you have the reasons why you may want to start streaming, let's talk about equipment. In this video, I want to give you a general outline of the type of equipment that you may need in order to get started streaming, and also do a deep dive depending on the category of streaming you may want to do. Let's get started. I want to preface this video by saying that you don't need extremely expensive equipment to start streaming. The equipment that you may already own or may be able to afford at the moment could be enough to get you started. Just remember that you can continue to upgrade your setup over time. In general, there are a few things that you're going to need to start streaming, and that's going to be a way to capture your stream, a way to encode your stream, and a way to broadcast it. Now, depending on the type of category of streaming that you may do, some of these pieces of equipment may be more specific or they may be a little different, but those will be covered later. Now let's cover the capture part of our equipment. Most commonly, this is going to be some sort of video camera, whether that's going to be a webcam, an action cam, a DSLR camera, a smart device, or something that has a built-in camera. Most streamers use these devices to capture either themselves or the environment around them. The most common way to connect these devices is through a USB interface, but there are some devices that need additional things to enable to connect to the rest of your equipment, so make sure you do your research before you commit to one. As far as the quality, that will definitely depend on the sensor size, the resolution, and the frame rate of the device that you're using, but I'll cover that in a separate video. For right now, know that out of all the different type of cameras that you can get, DSLR cameras will give you the most options to configure your image to fit it the way that you want. But not all DSLR cameras will be able to connect through a USB interface, so please do your research before you pick one out. As well, you will probably need a battery adapter to go into your DSLR camera if you plan on using it for long periods of time. Webcams have become the standard for most streamers because they are smaller, they're easier to mount, and they only need a USB connector to work. A lot of the higher end webcams will also have additional settings that you can adjust within your device. The next piece of equipment in the capture category are going to be your microphones. There are many different kinds of microphones, all ranging in different prices. A key thing to note is what type of interface your mic is going to need in order to work with the rest of your setup. The easiest mic to set up would probably be one that's built into another device, whether that be your webcam, your headphones, or even in-ear monitors. The reason being is because there should not be any more additional setup after you've set up the initial device that the microphone was built into. In my opinion, the next easiest microphone to set up would be a USB microphone, because most of these microphones are plug and play. You plug them into your device and they're ready to go. Most of these will only require minor adjustments to set up. A lot of these microphones have the controls built into them already, such as a mute switch, polarity control, and volume control. The last category of microphones are XLR microphones, and these for sure need additional equipment in order to work with your setup. You're going to need a power source, which a lot of the modern interfaces already include in them, and a way to control your input volume. There are a lot of people that have a whole mixing board just to get this microphone to work, but it isn't necessary. However, these are the most expensive kinds of microphone, and they do require additional equipment to make them work, so be aware of this. So the last type of capture device will be your display capture. Depending on the type of streaming that you're going to be doing, you're probably going to want a way to display what you're looking at to your audience, whether that is a TV or a computer screen or even your gaming console. Most of the next gen consoles have this feature built into them already by using the native app in order to broadcast gameplay. However, you may want to use a separate capture device just to take the load off your console. On PC, the two main programs used to start streaming also have a display capture built into them. However, if you're using a dual PC setup, you may want to use an external capture card in order to get your image from one PC to the other. These are the most common capture devices that you may encounter when you're streaming. However, some categories of streaming may require specific devices that I did not list, so if I missed something, please leave it in the comments. Now let's talk about encoding. Encoding is the process in which your computer takes your stream and compresses it down so that it's easier to broadcast out into the internet. There are many components involved in encoding your stream, but the two that will be the most prevalent are your graphics processing unit, or your GPU, and the software you use to stream. Both of these things will work together in order to compress your stream down and make it easier to get onto the internet and broadcast it out. The two most prominent programs that you'll encounter when streaming are Streamlabs and OBS. The thing that differentiates them is that OBS is free and open source, meaning that its source code is available for developers to use and make custom tools and custom settings, which they post in the forums in the OBS website. Streamlabs is free to use, but it locks its premium features behind a paywall, meaning you have to get a subscription in order to get those features. As far as how resource intensive each one is, I've only ever used OBS, so I don't have anything to compare it to. So for transparency's sake, I will not compare them on how resource intensive they are. All you need to know for the moment is that you will need one of the two programs in order to start streaming and sending your broadcast out. Both of these programs are powerful tools which will allow you to create multiple scenes, which you can switch between at different points in your broadcast. They will also allow you to apply filters to your microphone and your camera to make your stream look and sound the way that you want. They also have a record function so that for whatever reason, if your stream cuts out, you are still recording and you can save the footage as a backup. Now let's get to the last component of streaming, which is the broadcast portion. And you may be thinking why this wasn't included in the encoding process. The thing is that even though the encoding and broadcast share multiple components within themselves, they are still separate processes. Broadcast is the end result. It is the thing at the very end after you encode. So the main component here is the platform that you choose to stream on. In 2023, there are a lot of platforms to choose from. However, I will cover this in a separate video. For right now, you just need to know that you need an account to at least one of these streaming sites to begin streaming. The most popular streaming sites at the moment are Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Kick, and Facebook. The most recognized of the five is Twitch, but the other platforms have started to upgrade their live streaming capabilities and have become competitors to Twitch. It would benefit you to look into the platforms as well. Personally, I used to stream on Twitch, however, I've switched to YouTube because it just fits my schedule better. I also like the fact that all my content is in one place, so I don't have to send my audience anywhere else and they just come to this channel to see all my content. My live streams get saved to a playlist where my viewers can go and watch it even if they don't catch me live. This is what works for me and it may not work for you, so it is up to you to do the research and find the platform that fits you best. Another thing to consider is the monetization policy of the platform of your choice, especially if it is your intent to make money off your content. If you don't agree with the monetization policy, then you may want to use a different platform than the one that you may have chosen in the beginning. Now that we've done a general overview over what you may need to start streaming, let's do a more specific depending on the type of categories that you may want to get into. If you're a gaming content creator, you're going to want something to play the game on, you're going to want a way to capture it, and you're going to need at least a microphone to capture any type of commentary you may have. At minimum, this is what you need, and you can add other components over time. An example of this would be someone who owns a PS5. They're going to use the native Twitch app that's already installed to broadcast their stream. They're going to use their headset with a built-in microphone. That way they can capture their voice for commentary. This is a simple setup and can be done with just one piece of equipment, which is the PS5. Now, if this person wanted to, they could add a face cam using the PlayStation camera or using a USB webcam, and you can configure this within the PS5 settings. Over time, you may want to upgrade this setup, so you may add a standalone microphone which has a better sound. You may also add in an external capture device which you can plug into a laptop or a PC, depending on what your budget is. This way you are now taking the load off the PS5, and now the PS5 is only focused on the actual game. The PC or laptop is now in charge of the encoding, and you have an in-between capture device which is feeding the footage over to the laptop or PC. This will be a general progression for any type of gaming content creator, and over time you can continue to upgrade this. If you're interested in commentary, you may want to do React content or just chatting streams. You could use a smartphone and a headset with a built-in mic. On your smartphone, you can have any one of the platforms that I listed earlier installed on it, and from there you can start your live stream and set it up on a tripod while you speak into the microphone that's built into your headset. Over time, you may want to get a PC or a laptop to upgrade so that you can now display what you're looking at or what you're reacting to. You could also set up a webcam or a DSLR camera, and just like with the gaming content creator, you can add another microphone for better sound. ASMR streams are becoming more and more popular, and this is a category where you may want to spend a little bit more money on the type of equipment you're going to use. For example, you're going to need a very good microphone for this. ASMR streams are built around the noises that you create around the microphone, and so you're going to need a very fine-tuned microphone in order to do so. The bulk of your budget should go towards getting a microphone, but if you have anything left over, you could use that for a laptop or a PC. However, if there is no money left over after buying the microphone, you could use a smart device in order to record yourself. The last category I'll cover of streaming is IRL streaming, or in real life streaming. This is a category that is also going to be pretty pricey, and it can be risky. The biggest risk is the fact that your viewers will know exactly exactly where you are because you will be streaming what you're doing in real time. And the reason why this category of streaming is so pricey is because the equipment involved is very expensive. Now, in recent times, IRL streaming has become a little more difficult because of the many problems that you may face, such as invading other people's privacy or going to a public place where maybe recording and video equipment is not allowed. If you plan on doing this type of streaming, just remember to be very, very careful when you're out there streaming. Set a delay on your broadcast so that there's time for you to move from place to place and people won't know exactly where you are. Make sure you check in with managers and owners of places to make sure that it is okay for you to have your equipment there. And always respect the privacy of the people around you. As far as the equipment, as I mentioned before, this can get very pricey. Some of the best IRL streaming equipment can run you anywhere from $1,200 to $3,000. You may be able to find cheaper kits, but do your research first. From the research that I've done, some of the best kits range in this price range. So you may be wondering what makes these kits so expensive. One of the things that makes these kits so expensive is the fact that you won't have a stable internet connection wherever you're streaming. IRL streaming takes you out of the controlled environment of a room or a house or a building and places you out in the real world where connections are not stable. You rely on Wi-Fi signals in order to get your broadcast out. You will need a separate encoder to do the work in order to stabilize your stream. Another crucial thing for IRL streaming is your battery life. A lot of the equipment that you're going to be using has to be mobile, meaning that you can't plug it in to the wall somewhere. It needs to have a battery. Battery drain is a real problem for IRL streamers, so a lot of these kits that you buy will come with battery packs and battery chargers, and they're very pricey. Now, it is possible to start IRL streaming using just your smartphone or a action camera or something that can connect to the internet and has a camera. The issue is that there's massive battery drain when you do this. The device that you're using is doing both the encoding and the recording and everything else, and this puts a lot of strain on the battery and pretty much drains it within 30 minutes. With that being said, it's almost not worth it to IRL stream with these devices. And like I mentioned earlier, you're also dealing with unreliable Wi-Fi coverage, meaning that even if you had a mobile hotspot to try to stabilize the connection, your stream will still come out looking pretty choppy and grainy and not as smooth as some of the other kits can provide for you. In my opinion, unless you can afford a setup for IRL streaming, I would avoid this category altogether. Now, I know this is a lot of information that I may have thrown at you and it may seem very daunting, but I hope that this helps you at least get an idea of the type of equipment that you will need to get started streaming. Just keep in mind that if you have equipment to get started, you should get started. There's a myriad of resources around you on the internet that you can use to fine-tune your stream, even with the equipment that you have right now. If you enjoyed the video and you felt like it helped you, please leave a like on the video and subscribe for more videos like this. Also, check out our first video where we talk about the reasons why you may want to start streaming. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video. I've been Dark Spade, you guys have been awesome, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.